Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. So it's kind of a mixed bag of flipping through a few videos and a few apps that I think are going to be kind of fun for us to play around with to kind of practice some of the faults. And then the last little bit of it, I'm posting a video from one of my other classes that kind of goes over very similar things with the P waves and the S waves and stuff like that. So you'll have to watch this video first, do the activities that I'm about to show you, and then hop on down in Canvas. Excuse me, hop on down into Canvas right over here where video 2 is the rest of the lecture. So this is video number 1 we're talking about right now. All right. So first thing you're going to do is I need you to open up, it's called this fault identification practice. So if you click on this, it should open up. Let me see here. Yep. Close this one. Got a lot of tabs. Sorry. Uh, put the tab open there. So what you have here, this is a Miro board. It's kind of like a Jamboard or, an interactive whiteboard basically. But what you'll see are all these different colored strips here. One color strip is just for one person, all right? So I think I have, 50 different sets on here or something. So there should be enough for one for every person. And then what's kind of cool about this is if you use your right mouse button, you can click and drag like this, or you can use your mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out. There's also in the bottom right-hand corner, zooming in and zooming out buttons down there that you can see. But basically, you'll zoom in here, and what's kind of cool is it almost has like a little bit of infinite zoom. And well, we don't have groups, so you would just put your name right up here, right? So your name, you type that in. It's like a sticky note. So the way you move the sticky notes is if you have the little blue arrow over there selected, it will allow you to move things back and forth like this. If the blue arrow is unselected, it will drag your board around like this. All right. So if you want to move junk around, uh, make sure that you are using that one. And actually, I'm going to maybe, let's see if I can lock this really fast. Yep. All right. Now, you guys shouldn't be able to move that one around anymore. You should be able to just move the sticky notes and things. Let me make sure I got that for everybody else. Yeah. Okay. So now all you'll be able to do is move the sticky notes and draw on it and things like that. So first thing you need to do is your instructions is going to use the pen or the line tool here to find the fault. So we talked about normal, reverse, and strike slip faults, right lateral, left lateral faults on Wednesday. Now we're going to try to put that into practice really quickly. So if you notice over on the left-hand side, we have a pen tool. There's a normal pen. There's a highlighter version. You can do whatever you want. You can change the color of it by clicking on this little dot. You can change the color, you can change the thickness of your pen, et cetera, et cetera. And so what you're going to do is basically try to find the fault in this image, in the offsets, based on kind of we did drawings on Wednesday, but now we're going to try to put it into practice there. So there's my little highlighter, something like this, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is find the fault on all of these. So that one I kind of did for you, but I'll erase it. So whoever claims that can do it. Then you need to label the head wall and the foot wall. So remember, the head wall is the one that hangs over the person's head. The foot wall is the one that looks like they could walk up like a ramp almost, okay? And then the next thing here is we drew it in our drawings on class the other day, but we got to show the relative motion of those faults. Alrighty, we got to show the relative motions of those faults. And let me see if I can find another just fault here really quick so I don't give away. Um, I can spell cross section. I don't know if I can spell cross section though. All right, so I'll just kind of use this one as an example here. So basically what you're going to be trying to do is you're just going to label on the real picture though, the hanging wall or the head wall and the foot wall, and then these little half arrows that show the motion. So show me, did the hanging wall or head wall go down or did the hanging wall or head wall go up? If it's a normal or reverse fault, that's a big deal. Remember, in the hanging wall on the reverse fault, it gets pushed and squeezed up. Normal faults, the head wall or the hanging wall goes down. So that's what you would be drawing over here is use the little half arrows. So I would just use like a normal pen here. You can use a half arrow like this to show which direction things are going. And you'll put that on either side of the fault to show which piece is moving up, which piece is going down, right? That's the first part, piece of cake, right? Then head wall, foot wall. Once you do that, you should be able to tell if it's a normal or reverse fault. So that's where you'll use the sticky note over here. You'll just double click in there and you can say the fault type is, well, whatever it is, normal or reverse or left or right lateral. So in this case, it's going to be a normal or a reverse, one of those two for this one, okay? And then the last thing I need you to do is I need you to use big arrows. So you can use, man, heck, oh, there, that's why. You can use a thick pen if you want to kind of do like this to show which direction sorry, I have a sneeze coming on, which direction the tension or compression is happening. Excuse me. Sorry, the tension or the compression is happening on the fault. So this would be, if it's a normal fault, basically you'd have tension pulling things apart. So you'd use those arrows to show, hey, things are being pulled apart. That's what it's allowing the head wall to drop down. If it's a reverse fault, you draw these arrows coming together so that it shows, oops, I guess I can't flip it on this one. But it'd be kind of like that to show that it's squishing and coming together. But you put an arrow on either side here. So you need two arrows to show which direction things are being smushed. So the small arrows on the fault show which way the head wall and the foot wall have moved. Those big arrows on the outside show what type of forces were required to make that. Okay, so basically what you got 5 different pictures here. You have this one, you have this one, which is my wife sitting on a very famous fault in Death Valley. There's a bunch of faults over here. You can just choose one. All right, this is a pretty sweet fault from Taiwan. And then I will say this, the last 2 faults here, these are overhead airplane views, all right? So looking down. So you got to find the faults. This one's from a satellite. This one is from a little bit higher up here, or not higher up, but lower, closer to the ground than like a drone or an airplane or helicopter or something. This one's in New Zealand. This one is in China. But you can see the fault, and these ones are going to be our strike slip faults. So what you need to do, remember, is if you imagine yourself as a person standing on one side of the fault here and you look across the fault, did the other side of the fault look like it moved to the left or to the right? And that will tell you if it's a right or left lateral fault. Okay, so remember, draw the fault, draw the little arrows to show which way the fault has moved, and then tell me left or right lateral. And you can kind of show those forces on it. So in these cases, the big arrows would be side by side in the same direction that the fault has moved. Okay, and then the last one, this one's kind of a tricky one over by Death Valley. So we'll see what you got over there. So that's all you need to do is just claim one of these for this part. Claim one of these, put your name on it, draw all the stuff on there, tell me the types, and piece of cake. All righty. And if somebody else has already claimed stuff, do your best not to go over and erase it. But you all have editing privileges on this, and so just keep scrolling down. They're all the same. Just keep finding one that's new that nobody's done. And I gave you some arrows up here too, if you just want to copy and paste those arrows for like showing the directions and things like that. You can totally do that. And if you click on the arrow and use that little rotating circle, you can flip them all around and things, or make them bigger and smaller. It's up to you. Okay, so that's step number 1. That would be the fault identification model. The second one is the seismic wave viewer app. So if you click on that, it'll open up this tab right here where it says click anywhere to launch seismic wave simulator. You can choose basically from a big list of earthquakes, which my bar is covering. Up here tells you which quake is what. So this is the 2004 Sumatra quake. Let me see here. Oh yeah, that's the 2004 Sumatra quake. So it'll tell you all about it if you click on that link. I'm trying to remember where to find, load new quake. So if you don't want to do the Sumatra quake, you can choose an earthquake, maybe out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It's up to you guys, but you choose the earthquake, and then it's going to give us this 3D model of the globe Each one of these red things right there is a seismic station that records the earthquake waves. And then we have a cutaway section. So all you need to do is press play, and you'll hear the little earthquake rumbles in the background. I'm going to speed it up so it goes. And you're going to see different things moving and bouncing all around here. So I want you to play this. You can try a couple different earthquakes, but after you've played around with that, what I need you to do, if you go back to the canvas here, if you click on the seismic wave viewer Jamboard, you pop that open like so. It says groups on there, right? It says groups on there, and actually I'm gonna, where is it here? I gotta give you a new link. I'll put this link on there, but basically there'll be a link, and up at the top there's like 18 different pages. So this one is kind of just have 2 or 3 different people claim one slide, and if you want to go from one to the next like this, you can do it like that. But just put your names on here of whichever one you do. Write down which quake is it that you observed, write that down in the blue. And then what are some interesting things that you noticed and wondered? So to add other ideas, you just go over here to the sticky note and it'll pop up. So if you have a notice or wonder, make it green and type in, I noticed waves bouncing around here or there, but give some specific information, all right? So you type in your specific stuff and it makes a sticky note that you can make, really big, you can make really small, you can drag it around. It's up to you guys. And then what questions do you have? Like, ooh, I noticed something. Why did it do that? Why did it do this? That's what you should be popping on right here. All right. So, you don't have to collaboratively, synchronously do this, but just hop on, whoever gets there first, kind of add on to somebody else's. And if there's more than 3 people, let's flip onto a new slide right here like this, okay? But that's what you're doing for this one. And it's just notices and wonders before we get to the next section here, talking about P waves and S waves, which I'll show you about right now. So let me edit that link. There we go. All right, so now that link should be totally fine and working for you. Then the last bit here, you're going to stop this video and you're going to open up video number 2, and it says start at 59:23. Well, that's going to pop this open and it will give you some ideas about the answers of the head walls, the foot walls, and talk about some of those things first. Then there'll be some breaks. I'll have a little discussion about some faults going through like the town of Hollister and things, but just skip it. There's some break. This is from a recording from when we were online. All right, but just kind of skip it over until like another hour. What is it, about an hour 16 in? I'll talk about faults there. All right, and then we'll talk about some of the basics of the earthquakes, and these are the things that you need for your sketch notes there. You'll see that we also do the seismic wave viewer, like I just showed you how, so you can skip over that because we've done all that. So you'll see other people's notices and wonders too. So that's a good 20 minutes that you can just skip. And then get down to about an hour 41, somewhere in that neighborhood is where we pick up on the body waves, S waves, P waves, and the earthquake early warning system. So altogether, this video plus that other video with things that you actually got to watch is just about an hour. All righty. So that's all you got to do. Your sketch, the information at the end of this will be on your sketch notes as well, which are right there. And then your slides will start you down right here. If you load the slides for the week, here's week 9 Friday, it'll pop you right into here, and it'll have a lot of the slides that we talked about in the video as well for you to go back and talk about. Alrighty, so I hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to try to go to the mountains, reset myself so that I can keep grading even better, and we'll go from there. So have a great weekend. I'll see you later on Monday, okay?